So it's time to talk about Dragon Ball Super, the anime, and give everybody an update as to what's going on. I've been asked by a lot of people for the past month, what's going on with Dragon Ball Super? What's the update with the anime coming back? What's going on? And some people have been asking me very, very kindly, and I've been trying to investigate this information as much as possible for you guys behind the scenes, but I've also been working on my health and things like that I'm really focusing on going forward for the rest of 2019. Others have been extremely rude to me about this, and I understand Dragon Ball fans want their show to come back, but don't shoot the messenger. I report the information that I'm given as accurately as possible, and on this video, I'm gonna be very upfront. I'm going to lay out all my cards and tell you everything I know about Dragon Ball Super's impending return. Ever since Dragon Ball Super ended back in 2018, the TV version, of course, we've all speculated about when Super's coming back, whether or not the production will be better this time, and when it's actually happening. I remember right after Super ended, I received word from a friend of mine who has a contact within Toei Animation who told me that they were already pre-planning another Dragon Ball series. Now, I did not report on this at the time because I like to double and triple check my sources. That's how I report news. I don't ever report things with one source. I usually double or triple check it. So I did not report that, and that wound up being Dragon Ball Heroes that summer. And then again, we had the Dragon Ball Super Broly hype all throughout 2018, and that kind of took up our time, and Dragon Ball Super became a thing of the past until we were ready for its return after Broly. So then what wound up happening is later in 2018, right around October, November, December, late in the year, we received word that the Polish dubbing house, among other international dubbing houses, were already being told by Toei Animation that Dragon Ball Super would be returning and that they wanted to let them know ahead of time to prepare materials for the show's return. So in December, Anime AJ wound up going to Japan to watch Dragon Ball Super Broly, and I wound up going to LA for that premiere. And we both came back and spoke, and the information had essentially been shared among us that we confirmed from 3 different people. I spoke to 3 different people who told me Dragon Ball Super was coming back in 2019. Now, I wasn't told the month. I didn't know it was going to be July, April. I didn't know. But we were definitively told that the continuation of Dragon Ball Super would be in 2019 after the movie hype died down. So that all made sense to me. But at that point, I, in my own head, thought, well, it probably won't be April, but we expected an announcement to be at Jump Festa. Well, Jump Festa came and went and there was no announcement. At that point, I pretty much figured, well, Dragon Ball Super will come back when it comes back. There's no point in even speculating too much on it. And then the Italian voice of Vegeta went public stating that they have already begun receiving materials for the Dragon Ball Super return and that it would take place after Broly. This was a public story that made the rounds everywhere, including my coverage of it. And then shortly after that, the Italian Vegeta voice actor said, it's not true, I jumped the gun, which many fans believed was a gag order given to him by the licensors telling him, hey, you can't leak this information. At that point, it was a whatever thing. Like, we knew Super was coming back in 2019, but we didn't know exactly what date it was. We just knew it would be this year. So that whole Italian Vegeta thing happened back in December, and we just kind of forgot all about it. Then January 23rd, things took a very interesting twist as it was reported publicly that Toei Animation was shopping new episodes of Dragon Ball Super to various international licensors for distribution. This was covered by various websites. I covered it on the channel. At the NAPT event is where this happened, and Toei Animation stated that this was untrue, even though various sources at the event said it was true. Now, this is very common when companies have leaks and information get out that they don't want to get out. I never really realized just how much leaks are harmful or seen as being harmful by the Japanese. I never really knew that to be the case, but they definitely care, and they did a quick job of covering that up and saying, no, that's not true. And from there, it was just one of those things where most of us were waiting to see what would happen and when Super would actually get announced. Well, things got really interesting in February. There were several conversations that took place with actual production members on the Dragon Ball Super staff. We're talking about people who worked on Dragon Ball Super, who were going to continue to work on Dragon Ball Super in the future. In fact, a big portion of the Dragon Ball Super production staff had gone mysteriously missing for no other projects for many, many months. And that just confirmed what we found out in October about the series going into pre-production. And then things got interesting when these conversations took place and we found out from various sources, it wasn't just one, it was about 5, that Dragon Ball Super was in the pre-animation phase and was going to be coming out in July of 2019. Now, this information was late February, early March, and we had basically discussed that the series had begun its production. We found out that Naohiro Shintani's style sheets, or the animation sheets, would be used for Dragon Ball Super, and that it would try to look a lot more like the Broly movie as opposed to the previous Dragon Ball Super. And the whole thing about this is that Toei Animation is very cognizant of the production problems that Dragon Ball Super had during its first run. Right now, One Punch Man Season 2 is going through a very similar problem with the production being extremely behind. So Toei Animation is really concerned about making sure that Super looks and feels the way that it should and that it's going to be the best possible anime ever. And because of that, I'm perfectly willing to wait until they put it out. So we found out late February, early March, Super was planned to come back in July. Now, once 4, 5, 6 different people confirmed July, I decided to make a video on it on March 17, 2019, discussing the return of Dragon Ball Super and the information that had been given. Now, obviously, it's one thing to be skeptical. It's another thing to straight up call me a liar. And I've had a lot of pieces of trash have the audacity to say that I lied and made this up. The guy who cares most about his credibility and who's always told the truth from day one and who's broken a crap load of stories and been right, just for the past 3 months, I have given you 2 legitimate hero spoilers that nobody else got. You're going to sit there and say that I'm a liar? Yeah, you can piss off with that because I don't lie. Because right there on your screen, you see the conversations, snippets of them, of course, that were had with these production people. Now, understand, I'm not going to reveal their names because I'm not going to jeopardize anybody getting fired at this company. I'm not going to do it. If you're expecting that to happen, this ain't the place for you. But these are legitimate conversations with people who have worked on Dragon Ball Super and who are continuing to work on Dragon Ball Super in the foreseeable future. Later on, we found out there would be a meeting held in early April in Italy to discuss the future of Dragon Ball Super and their licensing and distribution deals there. And that meeting legitimately happened. In fact, over on Oppai Senpai's channel, there's a video where he uploaded screenshots and photographs from this meeting where they are clearly discussing Dragon Ball Super. It's there. And we were told at that time by the Italian licensors that Dragon Ball Super's return would be announced in late April and early May, which I already thought it would be announced then because that was when we had both the Dragon Ball Z anniversary and Goku Day. So it made logical sense that to me, even though I never confirmed it, but people love to twist my words, I said it's likely there'll be an announcement during that time, but we weren't 100% sure. We never were sure. As if that wasn't enough, Kamehacon weekend, I had a conversation with Mario and Renee, the Spanish voice actors of Goku and Vegeta, and both of them confirmed to me to my face that they also heard about Dragon Ball Super coming back. And recently there was an article where Mario Castañeda publicly confirmed that he knew about Dragon Ball Super's return. So all of this is legitimate information, but there was no announcement. And unfortunately, there was no announcement on either the DBZ anniversary day or on Goku Day. But once again, we went back to check with somebody who worked on Dragon Ball Super, and they once again, a different source, confirmed it was coming back in July. So clearly, the plan to bring Dragon Ball Super back in July had been one that has been in planning stages for a very, very long time. Then here we are June 1st and we still do not have an announcement. Now, a lot of people have speculated that there's going to be an announcement in May and there's going to be a trailer and there's actually fake images going around saying it's coming back in November. None of this is true. None of it is true. The reality is that Dragon Ball Super right now, people are keeping their mouth shut about what's going on with Dragon Ball Super. There's been a lot of rumors and a lot of theories going around about what is going on with Super. Some people have thought that because myself and others leaked it, that it was postponed. That is a fallacy. I highly doubt that a multi-million, billion-dollar corporation in Japan cares about some YouTubers and people on Twitter leaking this information. That's nonsense. I heard another rumor from another unspecified source that I won't reveal, who says that because of Golden Week, the animation got left behind. It sort of got postponed, and that's what's going on with Super. Then I heard another one where apparently Super is still in production, and this one seems to have the most logic to it because we've asked, and everybody who we've asked has said Dragon Ball Super is still in production. So it's definitely a thing that's being worked on as we speak. But now the talk is that because of the One Piece Stampede movie and the importance of One Piece being the #1 franchise for Toei Animation in Japan, they have postponed Super for a little while longer so as not to take away from the promotion of One Piece Stampede. That makes the most sense from a corporate level. The other rumors are kind of unsubstantiated, but that does make the most sense. Unfortunately, I have not been able to multi-source this, and I have gone back and asked some people, and people just don't know. They just keep saying it's being worked on, and that's it. So as of right now, I don't have a date for you about the announcement or even when the show's coming back. We were told July. We weren't told exactly when in July. We were told July. And whether or not it will be July is up in the air. I highly doubt that Toei would promote an anime with just 1 month's time, but they have set a precedent for this. This has happened before, and Dragon Ball is the type of show that can get away with this. Now, one thing that I also heard, which is interesting, is that there is some sort of turmoil in Toei Animation when it comes to their marketing department and what's going on in Dragon Ball. And this is something that they've done in the past. For example, Digimon Tri was originally supposed to be a new show, and then it got remade into movies, which were just poorly attached TV-length episodes. Sailor Moon Crystal is constantly being put in purgatory because they always announce the next season every year, and then they just keep scrapping it. A movie called Poppin' Q, which is a 60th anniversary Toei movie, got its release date changed about 3 times. So Toei tends to have a history of announcing things too early or too late, and then we're all kind of left wondering what's going on, including people who are inside the company. People within the company, some of the people working on Super who are not executives, are confused about what the hell is going on with this series because they're working on it, but we have nothing yet. So it may have been postponed. Right now, a very, very small number of people know what is going on, and I am going to try my best to figure out exactly what happened in the next few weeks and see if it got postponed, and if so, why it got postponed. But it would make sense that it would get postponed. They want it to be right this time, and with their focus being on the One Piece Stampede film, that being its anniversary as well, they really want to promote that. I would not be surprised. But again, I will do the best to find out, but I'm not going to report on anything unless I know for sure. So there's no need to even ask me about it. Just, subscribe, hit the notification bell. When I get an update, I will do a video giving you an update without question. But I'm not going to speculate anymore on the announcement date or the actual date where it's going to air because we don't know. Right now, even people within Toei don't even know. So let's see what happens when the top dogs actually decide to come out and reveal Super, because it's coming. I mean, there's way too much evidence. We've seen things. There have been people who have seen style sheets. It's out there. There have been materials sent to international dubs, not Funimation. They don't have anything yet, to my knowledge. Other international dub houses have received materials and have been told to plan Super's return. So whatever that means, I take it very seriously. That being said, I will let you know what else I find out in the future. Thanks again for your constant support of Geekdom 101. It means a lot to me, and whenever Super does come back, I can assure you it will be way better than the first run because they're going to make sure it's done right this time based on everything that we've learned. So thank you again. Talk to you soon.